Dear learners, welcome back. In this video, we are going to learn about the consistency of the soil. This is going to be a very important video, so please pay attention. We are going to learn a lot of topics over here. So first of all, what is the consistency of the soil? Consistency of the soil is the relative ease with which the soil can be deformed and is related with the water content of the soil. So basically, it is the ease with which we can deform the soil. Consistency denotes the degree of firmness of the soil, and it is termed as soft soil or firm soil. We can classify the soil as stiff soil or hard soil. As the water contents goes on decreasing, soil transforms from soft to firm, then stiff and then hard. Consistency is used for fine grained soils only. So you will use consistency for clayey soils as well as silt, but not for gravel or sand. Okay. Next thing is that a Swedish agriculturalist, Atterberg, divided the entire range of soil from liquid to the solid state in 4 stages of consistency. What are those stages? He classified the soil as liquid state, the plastic state, the semi-solid state, and the solid state. So there must be some criteria on which he has divided the soil in 4 states. When do we say that the soil is in liquid state? When do we say that the soil is in plastic state? Let's learn about each one of them in detail. He set arbitrary limits known as consistency limits or Atterberg limits for these divisions in terms of water content. Thus, the consistency limits are water content at which the soil passes from one state to another. So, what are these consistency limits? Consistency limits are the limits, or it is known as Atterberg limits, in which the soil passes from one state to another, like from liquid state to plastic state, from plastic state to semi-solid state, and from semi-solid state to solid state. Let's learn each of them one by one. So now, the water content at which the soil passes from one stage to another stage of consistency is known as the consistency limit or the Atterberg limit. Okay, these limits are expressed as the percentage of water content. So here is a diagram showing the water content in the x-axis and the volume change in the soil in the y-axis. Okay, so let's suppose we have a certain soil with us. Okay, let's suppose we have 10 grams of soil. Okay, 10 grams of soil with us, and what we do, we are pouring a large amount of water in it, and the soil is clayey soil, not the sandy soil. Okay, so soil is clayey soil and fine grained soil. That means it is not a coarse grained soil. And what we are doing, in a 10 grams of soil, let's suppose we are adding 500 ml, that means half a liter of water. So if we add a half a liter of water, what do you think it will be? The soil will become soil suspension, or it will just a slurry sort of thing, not a thick slurry, but it will be in a liquid stage. So the soil will be in a liquid state then. Okay, when the water content is too high, what happens then? What we start heating it. Okay, and the water will get evaporated. As the water gets evaporated, the water content of the soil starts decreasing, and from liquid state it will slowly move on to the plastic state. Now let's understand what is plastic state. We will learn about what is plastic state. Then from the plastic state it will even dry even more, and it will come to a semi-solid state. And meanwhile, you see this, the volume of the water will also, the volume of the water will also decrease. As we are decreasing the water content from here, let's suppose from here to till here, the volume of the soil is also decreasing from here to here. Okay, now it will go to the plastic state. The plastic state of the soil is that state where we can mold the soil. Okay, we can make this the soil deformable. So you can say the plastic state of the soil is the same state where you see the potters making the pots. Okay, that is the plastic state of the soil. Now if you, what happens if you keep on heating and keep on decreasing the water content? the soil will go to the semi-solid state. In the semi-solid state, the soil will become hard and it is no more deformable. So what happens to the volume? The volume will even decrease even more. See here. But what will happen if you continue decreasing the water? It will become a solid and it will reach to a stage here where if you reduce the water content of the soil, there is no more change in the volume of the soil. Now you must be thinking, why is it so? If you continue decreasing the water content but there will be no change in the volume of the soil, and that is known as the shrinkage limit of the soil. But why there is no change in the volume? See here, even further you are decreasing the water content, the volume change remains constant. There is no change in the volume. This happens because, suppose this is a soil particle, soil mass, and these are soil solids, and it is filled up with water. Okay, it is filled up with water. Let me just make the water in yellow color. This is filled up with water. Now eventually what you are doing, you are removing the water, but the solids are so positioned, so in a compact position, that they are not having any space to move further close. Okay, so what will happen, all the water which is getting evaporated from the mass is getting replaced by the air. So even though the water is getting escaped from the soil mass, it is getting replaced by the air, and the solids are so close that there is no chances of solids of coming even more closer. So that point is known as the shrinkage limit of the soil. We will be studying about these limits in detail in this video only. So this is a brief idea I am giving you. What is the chart between water content and the volume of the soil looks like? It is something like this. There are four stages: the solid state, the semi-solid state, the plastic state, the liquid state. And from the liquid state, the soil passes to the plastic state, and this is known as Atterberg's limit. This is the consistency limit where the soil passes from one state to another state. From liquid state to plastic state, when the soil passes, it is known as the liquid limit of the soil. From the plastic state to semi-solid state, it is known as the plastic limit of the soil. From semi-solid state to the solid state, it is known as the shrinkage limit of the soil. We are going to deal with all these limits and all these states more here. So let's move ahead and let's learn each of these states and each of these limits. So first is the liquid limit of the soil. This is the liquid limit of the soil. If you look in the graph, this is the liquid limit of the soil. When the soil passes from the liquid state to the plastic state. So what is the liquid limit of the soil? Liquid limit is defined as the minimum water content. So please don't get confused, students. There is a great confusion in minimum and maximum water content. I'll explain this to you in a much greater detail. Liquid limit is defined as the minimum water content at which the soil is still in the liquid state but still has a small shearing strength against flowing. So it is the minimum water content. So what is it? See, this is the water content. If you add more water to it, it will be in a liquid state. It will be in a liquid state. It will be in a liquid state. If you keep on increasing the water content in the soil will remain in the liquid state. So this is the minimum amount of water which you should add to the soil so that the soil is in the liquid state. So it is the minimum water required in the soil to be in a liquid state and show a small shearing strength. Okay, but if you after this, if you increase the water content, the soil is going to be definitely in a liquid state. Okay, so this is the minimum water required for the soil to be in a liquid state. So this is known as the liquid limit of the soil. With reference to the standard liquid limit device, it is defined as the minimum water content at which a part of the soil cut by the groove of standard dimension will flow together for a distance of half inch under the impact of 25 number of blows in the device. So this is the Casagrande's device, and this device is used for measuring the liquid limit of the soil. There must be a device for measuring the liquid limit. How will you find at which water content the soil has reached its liquid limit? So this device is used to measure what is the liquid limit of the soil. So we can define the liquid limit of the soil using this procedure as well. What is it? It is the minimum water content, again minimum water content at which a part of soil. So we take a part of soil. I'll explain you the test briefly. What we do, we take a soil, mix it with some water, and place the soil here. This is a tool. We place the soil here. This is the groove cutting machine. This is a standard groove of standard size. Okay, this is half a inch groove. This when you cut the soil using this groove, there is a groove formation like this. This distance is half inch. Okay, this distance is half inch or 12 millimeter. So the soil will get separated by half an inch using this groove cutter. Now you rotate this. You rotate this and give, if you rotate this, what will happen? This pan will rise up to a height of 1 inch and will fall down. Then again you rotate this, it will go up and then down. So this will continue. If you give 25 number of blows, what will happen? These two halves of the soil will come together. Okay, these two halves of the soil will come together, and the distance between the groove will eventually close, and the soil will become something like this. So it is telling you that with reference to the standard liquid limit device, it is defined as the minimum water content. So what is that minimum water content at which a part of the soil cut by the groove of standard dimensions will flow together? So soil will flow together in this direction for a distance of half an inch under the impact of 25 number of blows. So exactly at 25 number of blows, you are rotating this handle for 25 times. So exactly for this 25 number of blows, what will happen? This groove of half an inch will close. That means the soil here will float towards each other. Okay, so this is known as the liquid limit of the soil, and this is the very test of liquid limit of the soil. So you can define the liquid limit of the soil in two ways, in terms of the test or in the terms of water content as well. So I hope the liquid limit of the soil is clear. It is that at that water content at which the soil passes from the liquid state to the plastic state. Now let's move ahead. What is the plastic limit of the soil? So this is the plastic limit of the soil. Plastic limit of the soil is that state when the soil passes from the plastic state to the semi-solid state. Let's understand here. The plastic limit is the water content between the plastic state and the semi-solid state of consistency. In between plastic state and the semi-solid state of consistency. Now, it is defined as the minimum water content. Just be careful about the minimum. No, it is not the maximum. It is the minimum water content at which the soil just begins to crumble when rolled into a thread approximately 3 millimeter in diameter. So how do we test when the soil, whether the soil is in plastic state or not? So what do? We knead the soil using a water, and then we make solid balls, and then we make thread of the soil. The diameter of the thread should be 3 millimeter, and the thread just starts to crumble. Okay, so when the soil thread just begins to crumble, that just begins to crumble or break down when rolled into a thread of approximately 3 millimeter diameter, that very water content of the soil, or the minimum water content of the soil, is known as the plastic limit of the soil. Okay, so this is the plastic limit of the soil. This is the plastic limit of the soil. It is that water content at which if you make a soil ball or a thread of 3 millimeter diameter, and the soil thread will just start to crumble or break down. So this is the plastic limit of the soil. This is the test of for plastic limit of the soil, and this is also the definition of plastic limit of the soil. And plastic limit of the soil is the state between the semi-solid state and the plastic state of the soil. Now we are moving towards shrinkage limit. What is this shrinkage limit? Shrinkage limit is defined as the maximum. Here it is the maximum water content, okay? Shrinkage limit is the maximum water content at which reduction is in water content will not cause a decrease in the volume of the soil mass. As I have explained you before, if you keep on reducing the water content in the soil, you will reach a state where the solid particles are so close that they cannot come closer any further. And if you keep on reducing the water content of the soil, what will happen? The water will get evaporated, but it will get replaced by the air in the soil mass. So the volume in the soil will remain constant, and that is called the shrinkage limit of the soil. You can say that shrinkage limit of the soil is the minimum water content when the soil is completely saturated. So this is the minimum water content at which the soil is completely saturated. If you add more water, the soil will remain completely saturated. Okay? And it is the maximum amount of water content at which if you decrease the water, the soil volume will not change. So you can define shrinkage limit in two ways. First of all, it is the minimum water content at which the soil is completely saturated. This is the first definition. It is the minimum water content at which the soil is completely saturated. Now, secondly, you can define the shrinkage limit as it is the maximum water content at which if you decrease the water content of the soil, the volume of the soil remains constant. So this is the maximum amount of water. If you reduce any further water, you will not observe any volume change. And it is the minimum water content at which the soil is completely saturated. So these points you should remember. These are very important points from the objective point of view as well as concept point of view. Now let's move ahead. So up till now we have learned about what is liquid limit, what is plastic limit, what is shrinkage limit of the soil. All the three limits we have understood. Now we are moving forward and we will learn about the plasticity index. Now what is plasticity index? It is the range of consistency within which the soil exhibits plastic behavior. So the soil will remain plastic in this range. Up from this plastic limit to the liquid limit of the soil, this is the range of the water content at which the soil is going to be plastic. Okay, so this range of water content is known as the plasticity index, and it is denoted by IP. It is the range of consistency within which the soil exhibits plastic behavior is called plastic range and is indicated by plasticity index. Plasticity index is defined as the numerical difference between the liquid limit and plastic limit of the soil. So what is this? This is the difference between the liquid limit of the soil and the plastic limit of the soil. So if you subtract the plastic limit of the soil from the liquid limit of the soil, you will get the plasticity index. When the plastic limit is equal to or greater than the liquid limit, the plasticity index is reported as 0. So this is going to be a very important point. What is it? Sometimes in few soil you will notice that the plastic limit of the soil is greater than the liquid limit of the soil. That means this is greater than this portion. So what will happen? IP will become negative, but we do not report IP. We never report IP as negative. The plasticity index, we never report it as negative. So in this case, what is the IP of the soil? IP means plasticity index of the soil is reported as 0, not negative. So this is another important point to be noted here. Whenever we get the value of IP in negative, we report the plasticity index of the soil as 0. And this is one of the important points. You can get questions in objectives. Okay. Now, what is the significance of this plasticity index? Whenever we get the value of plasticity index as 0, we say that the soil is non-plastic. Okay. When it is less than 7, it has got low plasticity. From 7 to 17 value means medium plasticity, and from if it is greater than 17, it is highly plastic. So this chart is very important. You should note this. You will get questions based on this chart. So you should remember these values. These are very important, and I'll be doing some numerical problems asked in the previous year ESC examination, where you will see all these things. Okay. Now, there is another chart I have mentioned over here for the type of soil. See, for the type of soil, it is gravel. So as I have told you, the coarse grained soil has got no plasticity. So plastic index will be 0. It is not plastic soil. You cannot mold it. Okay. Plasticity index means it is the range where the soil is in plastic state. That means you can mold the soil, but you cannot mold the gravel, right? Sand is also non-plastic. You cannot mold the soil sand. You cannot make a pot using a sand, right? So it is also a non-plastic soil. Next is silt. Silt is plastic. Its plasticity range is between 10 to 15. That means it is not highly plastic, it is medium plastic. 10 to 15 is medium plastic. But what about clay? Clay is the highly plastic soil. And in clay, I have mentioned two types of clay: alluvial clay and black soil. Black cotton soil it is called. It is found in Madhya Pradesh, especially. So alluvial soil is having a plasticity range of 15 to 100. And alluvial soil, as you know, it is transported by river, deposited by river. This is found in India. It is found in the range in UP, Bihar. So these are all alluvial soil found, and these are very fertile soil. And alluvial soil is having a plasticity range of, and not to mention West Bengal. So these are the places where you see lot of pottery is done, right? In West Bengal, lot of clay pottery is done. So these are the places where you will find these sort of things, because you find alluvial soil over there, and alluvial soil is highly plastic. It is the plasticity range is between 15 to 100. And then comes the black cotton soil. The black cotton soil is having a mineral called montmorillonite, and it is highly plastic soil. It has got the plasticity range of 100 to 250, even more than the alluvial soil. And this is found in the state of Madhya Pradesh. Important. Okay. So once we have learned about plasticity index, there is another very important concept. What will happen if you mix two or more soils? Two or more soils of different plasticity together, then what will be the plasticity index of the mixture? You will find this question many a times. So when two or more soil with different plasticity is mixed together, then the plasticity index of the mixture is given by, so I have written plasticity index of the mix is IP1. So let's say there are 3 soils, and you can extend it up to n number of soils. You can extend it up to n number of soils. Okay. So let me write it dot 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 plus xn. So IP1 into x1 plus IP2 into x2 plus IP3 into x3 by x1 plus x2 plus x3. So what are these terms now? IP1 means it is the plasticity index. This is very important. Plasticity index of first soil. Similarly, IPN means plasticity index of nth soil. And what are x1, x2, x3? X1 is the percentage of first soil, and xn means percentage of nth soil. Okay. So if we take two or more soils with different plasticity and mix them together, the plasticity of the mixture what we are going to get is this. Using this, expression. So this expression is very important. It can come in your MCQ questions. Let's move ahead and learn about the shrinkage index. What is that? So we have learned about the plasticity index. It is the range of uh, water content in which the soil is in plastic state. Now what is shrinkage index? It is the range of consistency in which the soil is in semi-solid state. So same thing ahead now. When the soil is in semi-solid state, it is the range of consistency. So how will you find out? Shrinkage index is denoted by IS. It is simply WP, that is the plastic limit of the soil, minus the shrinkage limit of the soil. Okay, it is the difference between the plastic limit and the shrinkage limit of the soil. So we learned that plasticity index signifies the range in which the soil is plastic. Okay, what is the significance of this shrinkage index? So shrinkage index is the indicator of compressibility of the soil, how compressible the soil is. Greater the shrinkage index, greater is the compressibility of the soil. So if it can be asked in the MCQ questions, which soil is more compressible? You will be given some data and they will ask you which soil is more compressible. So you should know which parameter to compare for compressibility. So for compressibility, you are going to compare the shrinkage index of the soil. More the shrinkage index, more will be the compressibility of the soil. Next, we are going to learn about shrinkage ratio. It is defined as the decrease in the volume of the soil expressed as the percentage of its dry volume to the corresponding change in the water content above the shrinkage limit. Okay, it is bit confusing. It is also related to shrinkage. Let's try to break it down. Shrinkage ratio is denoted by letter R. You can say I've denoted it by letter R. It is defined as the decrease in the volume of the soil. So let's take two water contents here. Let's say this is water content number 1 and this is water content number 2. Okay, we are taking two different water contents, W1 and W2, and the corresponding change in the volume. Okay, this is V2, this is V1, and this is the volume of the dry soil. This is the maximum volume, this is the minimum volume of the soil mass. The volume cannot go beyond this point. So this is the dry volume of the soil. Okay, so shrinkage ratio, the definition of the shrinkage ratio is that it is defined as the decrease in the volume of the soil. So volume, how much it is reducing? It is reducing from V2 to V1. Okay, so it is decrease in the volume of the soil. So it is V2 to V1 expressed as the percentage of its dry volume. So expressed as the percentage of its dry volume, let's express that in the percentage to the corresponding change in the water content. So we have to divide it by the corresponding change in water content. What is the corresponding change in water content? W2 minus W1 is the corresponding change in the water content of the soil, and this is nothing but shrinkage ratio. But you should remember that this W1 and W2 should be above the shrinkage limit of the soil. Above the, you should mention that the water content above the shrinkage limit. Why? Because why is it important that the water content is above the shrinkage limit? It is important because if you take, suppose you will take W over here, then there is no change in the volume of the soil. The volume of the soil will remain constant. If you take water content over here, then also the volume will remain same. So it is very important that you should take the water content above the shrinkage limit of the soil. And if you take the water content below the shrinkage limit of the soil, if you keep on decreasing the water content, the volume will remain constant and this will cause an error. Okay, so this is the basic definition of shrinkage ratio that you should remember, and this is very confusing, so I have made you understand everything. Now moving forward, we'll learn about the consistency index. So consistency index, what is it? The consistency index, or the relative consistency as it is called, is defined as the ratio of liquid limit minus the natural water content of the soil to the plasticity index of the soil. So what is it? It is the ratio of liquid limit of the soil to the natural water content of the soil. You have to subtract those divided by the IP, that is the plasticity index of the soil. So if you elaborate this, it is WL minus W. What is W over here? It is the natural water content of the soil minus WL minus WP. IP is nothing but liquid limit minus the plastic limit of the soil. Now, what is the significance of consistency index? So, consistency index I have marked as important. What is the importance of consistency index? Consistency index will give you the in situ behavior of the fine grained soil in its natural moisture content. Uh, okay, so if there is a soil and has got natural moisture content, the consistency index will show you whether the soil is in will show a plastic behavior, whether it will show a liquid behavior, or whether it will show a stiff behavior. So you will understand this with the help of consistency index. Okay, so consistency index is useful in study the field behavior of the saturated fine grained soil. If the consistency index of the soil is unity, it is in the plastic limit. If the soil with consistency index equal to 0, it is in liquid limit. No need to memorize this. I'll explain this to you. So first of all, what is consistency index? Consistency index is WL minus W. It is the liquid limit of the soil minus the natural moisture content of the soil by IP. That is liquid limit minus the plastic limit of the soil. Let's suppose we'll take three cases. Okay, we take W, the natural moisture content of the soil, here. There is a first case I am taking when the natural moisture content of the soil is here above the liquid limit of the soil. Okay, W1 is suppose here. So what we do, IC, let's calculate what will be the value of IC. It will be WL minus W1 by WL minus WP. See here, W1 is greater than the liquid limit of the soil. Is that correct? So the numerator will be in negative. WL minus W1 will give you a negative value, and WL minus WP will give a positive value. So what will happen? The overall value of IC will be negative. In this case, the IC will be negative. So whenever the value of IC is negative, uh, let me write it here. Whenever the value of IC or the consistency index is negative, the soil in its natural state will be in a liquid state. Okay, so here, if the consistency index of the if the consistency index is negative, the soil has a natural water content greater than the liquid limit, and the soil will be in the liquid form. As simple as that. So whenever it is in negative, so you shouldn't memorize this, you should understand this. So when it will be negative, when the water content is greater than the liquid limit, it will be negative, and the soil will be in a liquid state. Okay, what will happen if W1 is here, is same as the liquid limit? If W1 is same as the liquid limit, then it will become 0, and it will again show a liquid behavior. Okay, let's take a case 2. Let's take W1 when W1 is over here. Let's say it is W2. Okay, so what will happen to the consistency index when water content is at W2, natural water content is at W2? So WL minus W2 by WL minus WP. So WL minus W2, this is a positive number, right? And WL minus WP again positive. So numerator is positive, denominator is positive, so overall thing will be a positive. WT is let's say the natural water content is same as WP. So what will happen? WL minus WP will be the numerator, WL minus WP will be the denominator. So here it will be 1. Let's suppose what will be the value of consistency index when W natural water content is same as the liquid limit. So then the numerator will be 0 and the denominator, so the whole thing will be 0. This is point number 2. So here when natural water content is same as the plastic limit of the soil, it will IC will have a value of 1. When the natural water content of the soil is same as the liquid limit of the soil, IC will be having a value of 0. So in the range of 0 to 1, whenever the consistency index is between 0 and 1, the soil will show a plastic behavior. See, this is the plastic range, right? So plastic behavior, that's what I have written here. If the consistency index of the soil is unity, the soil is at plastic limit. If the soil consistency index is 0, it is at liquid limit. So you should not remember this. You should just remember the formula and you should apply your brains so that you can decipher whether the soil is in plastic state or what. Now let me just change the color and see what will happen when the natural water content of the soil is here. It is, let's say, W3. So what will be the value of IC now? That is the consistency index. Consistency index will be WL minus W3 by WL minus WP. So WL minus W3, it's a positive number and it is greater than the denominator, right? It is great, this distance is greater than WL minus WP. So what will happen to the IC? IC will have a value greater than 1. So whenever the IC is having a value greater than 1, the soil will be in a semi-solid state. That's what I have written here. If the consistency index exceeds unity, is greater than 1, the soil is at semi-solid state and will be stiff. So this is one of the most important thing that you should understand. This is very important. Now, once you have understood this formula is very important. You should remember this. Moving ahead, the liquidity index. It is denoted by IL. It is the same thing. What is liquidity index? Liquidity index of the soil is defined as the ratio of the natural water content of the soil minus the plastic limit to the plasticity index of the soil. I'm sorry, this is not IC, it is IL. It is W minus WP by IP. Okay, so you should remember this. Consistency index is WL minus W by WP, while the liquidity index is W minus WP by IP. Same thing. And what is the significance of liquidity index? Its significance is same as that of consistency index. It also indicates the behavior of the soil in situ fine grained soil. That is, in situ fine grained soil, it will show the behavior. But then what is the difference between the liquidity index and the consistency index? We should know what is the difference between the liquidity index and the consistency index. So for that, let's again take three values. Let's take W1 here. When the water content, natural water content of the soil is greater than WL. So what will be the liquidity index? Liquidity index is W minus WP by IP. Okay. So natural water content is, I'm taking as W1, W minus WP by IP, that is liquid limit minus the plastic limit. So W1 minus WP, this by this. As you can see, the numerator is greater than the denominator, then the whole liquidity index of the soil is greater than 1. And when the liquidity index of the soil is greater than 1, the soil is in liquid state. But while in consistency index, when it is greater than 1, see what will happen. When it is greater than 1, the soil was in semi-solid state, right? It was semi-solid state. But in liquidity index, when it is in greater than 1, the soil is in liquid state. So just opposite. Next, let's consider when the soil is having the consistency W2 that lies between WP and WL. Okay, so let's say this is W2, This is W2. So liquidity index will be how much? W2 minus WP by WL minus WP. So what do you see here? W2 minus WP by this value. So definitely the numerator is greater than the denominator, is less than the denominator. So this is a fraction. This is a fraction. Now, if suppose W2 becomes equal to WP, W2 becomes equal to WP, the whole thing will become 0 and the soil then will be in plastic limit. And suppose the W2 is same as the liquid limit of the soil, then whole thing will become 1 and the soil will reach its liquid limit. So between 0 and 1, between 0 and 1, the soil shows a plastic behavior, is in plastic state. Okay, here also in consistency index, when between 0 and 1 the soil was showing a plastic behavior. Now let's suppose when the soil is here, when the natural moisture content of the soil is here, okay, let's call it W3. Let's call it W3. This is W3. So what is IL? That is the liquidity index of the soil. It is W3 minus WP by WL minus WP. W3 minus WP. It is a negative value, right? W3 minus WP is a negative value. W3 is less than WP. And this is a positive value. So it will be less than 1. When it is less than 1, the soil is in semi-solid state. But while in consistency index, let's see the consistency index. When it was a negative, the soil was in liquid state. But when it is negative over here in liquidity index, it is in semi-solid state. So just opposite of this. So you should not mug up, because if you just learn this blindly, chances are there that you will just forget everything, right? So you should remember the concept, and this is one of the most important concept. Now that was all for today's class. Hope you enjoyed that. Bye bye, and see you in the next lecture with something new. Do like and follow me for more, and don't forget to subscribe to my Telegram channel for any new updates.